If you're trying to eat more dark leafy green vegetables, a great recipe to try is a mixed green stir fry. You can just use whatever green veggies you have on hand in your refrigerator, and this comes together in no time. So first, wash your vegetables by immersing them in a bowl of cold water, or you can even fill your sink with cold water. I'm rinsing here about 5 pieces of kale. This one's a little yellow. I think we're going to discard that one. Then we have a small bunch of bok choy. I'm going to break this apart. I may or may not use all of this. And again, you'll want to watch for any yellow spots like this. We'll just take those off later and discard them. All right, this does look pretty voluminous, so I don't think we're going to use quite all of this bok choy. Then I've got one little head of broccoli that was laying around in my refrigerator, so we'll use that up. And about 4 scallions, just for a nice oniony flavor. I'm also going to add garlic. So to trim our kale, I'm going to show you a really easy method where you basically just pull the leaves right off the stems, get rid of the stems, and rip up all of those leaves into little bite-sized pieces. Just taking off the little yellow part there, but we're just going to rip that right off. To prepare our bok choy, we're going to look for those bad spots we mentioned earlier and just cut those right off. We're also going to remove the ends where there might be a little bit of browning and that kind of rough edge. Then we're going to turn it over so it's a little bit more stable. Again, if you see any little spots like that, just shave them right off with your knife. And since bok choy is such a nice tender green, we're going to cut it fairly thickly, about a 1/2 inch here, because it won't take as long to cook as the other vegetables. And we're just going to chop these little guys in half so we wind up with pieces like this. To cut up your broccoli, simply remove the florets from the stem and break these up into the desired size you would like. About like that. You can even feel free to use the stem. Just simply take the end off and use your knife to remove the skin, the tough outer skin. Again, save that for soup stock. And then you're left with this nice tender little piece, which you can actually just use as a crudité if you like, or a snack for the chef. Or you can just slice it up like so on the bias or diagonal and just add that like so. I'm going to cut up my scallions by removing the little root section here. You guessed it, soup stock. And we're going to take the ends off, the other end. To slice these, the bottom part we're going to slice a little more thinly than the top part. But I'm just going to use the entire length of the whole vegetable, and then these we can chop up into maybe 1/2 inch thick pieces. Last but not least, we're going to mince up our garlic. So I'm just going to take those little brown ends off and just thinly slice it one way. If you're a garlic lover and you don't mind biting into big chunks of garlic, you can just keep it thinly sliced, but I like mine a little finer, so I'm going to go through a few more times, a few more passes to chop it a little smaller. Time for some cooking action. Let's go ahead and add our sesame oil, about 2 tablespoons. I've got the pan heating over medium-high heat. First I'm going to add the scallions and the garlic and a little pinch of salt. maybe another pinch of salt. Let's move that around. We are getting a little bit of a sizzle here. So after your scallions and your garlic saute for several minutes by themselves, you can go ahead and add the kale. Big old handfuls. It's gonna look like a lot. You're gonna think, how's that ever gonna fit in there? But trust me, it shrinks down. And then we're gonna add our broccoli right on top. I'm going to wait to add the bok choy because, as we mentioned, the bok choy is a very tender green and doesn't require as much cooking time. So let's just put that aside for now. I'm going to sprinkle the entire dish with a little bit of soy sauce. This is organic tamari. You can add more if you like. And then I'm just going to deglaze the pan by adding a little splash of water. You can also deglaze by adding rice wine, white cooking wine, just regular white wine, or vegetable broth. You can give it a light stir just to make sure that those scallions are not sticking for some reason. And then I'm going to cover the whole thing and let it cook for a few minutes, steaming nicely in there. Let's take off our lid and see how we're doing after a few minutes here. You can see that your greens are starting to tenderize a little bit and soften. So at this point, we'll go ahead and add our bok choy. Give that a light stir. And let's add another little light sprinkle of soy sauce. If your vegetables were sticking, if your heat is high and it's sticking, you can always, you can turn down your heat, and you can also add another little splash of your cooking liquid, which could be the water, broth, or wine. Let's cover it and let it steam and cook for another couple minutes. So our green saute has been cooking for several more minutes, and it looks like it's the desired tenderness. You can cook it less time if you like them really bright green and crispy. I like mine a little more soft. I'm going to turn off the heat. And I'm not going to let it sit in the pan because if it sits there too long, it will overcook. Let's go ahead and pile it nice and high in our serving dish. Ooh, this looks so good. So look at this beautiful plate of green goodness. Oh my gosh, I have to try a bite. Ooh, look at this. Mmm. Who needs chocolate cake when you have a dish like this? If you end up trying it, let me know how you like it in the comments below. And be sure to give this video a thumbs up and forward it to a friend. And also subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching and see you soon. Kale, I'm going to show you a really easy method where you basically just pull the leaves right off the stems, get rid of the stems, and rip up all of those leaves into little bite-sized pieces.